I'm 79 years old, and there's something I need to say while my voice still sounds like mine. I spent 50 years hiding my true self, and by the time I understood what it cost me, most of my life was already gone.
I'm 79 years old, and there's something I need to say while my voice still sounds like mine. I spent 50 years hiding my true self, and by the time I understood what it cost me, most of my life was already gone. I'm not telling this because I want forgiveness. Most of the people I'd owe that to aren't here anymore. I'm telling it because time has made honesty feel heavier than fear, and because silence feels worse now than any consequence ever did back then. These days, my mornings are quiet. Too quiet. I wake up before the sun, not because I'm disciplined, but because my body doesn't know how to sleep in anymore. I sit on the edge of the bed and listen to the house. It doesn't answer. There are photographs on the dresser. Faces frozen in moments when I was pretending everything was fine. I look older now than I ever imagined I would, but what surprises me more is how little of myself I recognize when I look back at those years. People think old age brings clarity like a gift. It doesn't. It brings it like a bill. You finally see everything clearly, and then you realize there's no time left to fix most of it. When I was young, in my 20s, I thought I knew who I was. Or maybe I should say I knew who I was supposed to be. I grew up in a time where fitting in wasn't just encouraged, it was survival. You didn't ask too many questions about yourself. You learned what was acceptable, and you shaped yourself around that like wet clay. I was good at it. Too good. I learned early how to nod at the right moments, how to laugh at the right jokes, how to keep certain thoughts locked away so deep that even I didn't hear them most days. It didn't feel like lying at first. It felt like being responsible. I had a steady job by my late 20s. Nothing glamorous. A desk, a clock on the wall, the same routine 5 days a week. I got married because it was the next step. Not because I didn't care, but because I didn't know how to ask myself what I truly wanted. We looked good together in photographs. That mattered more than it should have. People would say things like, "You're doing well," and I believed them. I took pride in being dependable, in being normal, in being someone no one worried about. Inside, there was a quiet discomfort I couldn't name. It wasn't loud enough to stop me. It was just loud enough to follow me. I told myself everyone felt that way. That adulthood was about swallowing certain parts of yourself and moving on. There were moments, small ones, when the mask slipped. A conversation that went a little too long. A thought that lingered after the lights were out. I would feel something real rise up, and then I'd push it back down. Not today. Later. When things are settled. When there's more time. There was always supposed to be more time. My 30s and 40s went by fast. Faster than I noticed while they were happening. Work became heavier. Responsibilities multiplied. People depended on me, and I took that seriously. I missed dinners because I was tired. I missed conversations because I didn't know how to be honest in them. I missed myself because I was busy being who I thought I had to be. The cost didn't arrive all at once. It arrived in pieces. A friendship that faded because I never quite showed up fully. A marriage that grew polite instead of intimate. Long stretches of quiet where something should have been said, but wasn't. I learned how to live with that emptiness by staying busy. Busy is a wonderful disguise. It makes avoidance look like responsibility. There were nights I'd sit alone after everyone else was asleep and feel this pressure in my chest. Not pain. More like a weight. I'd think about the things I never said, the questions I never answered honestly, and then I'd tell myself it was too late to change. Funny thing is, it wasn't too late then. It just felt inconvenient. I didn't realize I was practicing for regret. The turning point didn't come with fireworks. It came with a phone call. A doctor's voice, calm and practiced, telling me something about my wife that I couldn't quite process at first. An illness. Advanced. Limited time. Suddenly, time stopped being theoretical. We sat together in the evenings after that. Closer than we had in years, but still separated by everything we never said. There were moments I wanted to tell her the truth. Not about blame or mistakes, but about who I really was inside. About the parts of me I'd hidden from her and from myself. Every time I almost spoke, fear won. Fear of hurting her. Fear of disrupting what little peace we had left. She died without ever knowing me fully. I stood at her bedside and held her hand, and I realized I had spent decades beside someone while still being alone. That was the moment clarity arrived. Not gently, not helpfully. It arrived like a door slamming shut. After the funeral, the house felt different. Not just empty, exposed. There was no one left to perform for. No one left to protect from the truth. I was finally free to be myself, and there was almost no one left to be that person with. That's the cruel joke of hiding for so long. By the time you feel safe enough to stop, the audience is gone. I tried, in my late 60s, to live more honestly. I really did. I spoke a little more openly. I allowed myself thoughts I'd buried. I even told one or two people things I'd never said out loud before. They listened kindly. But kindness isn't the same as shared history. You can't retrofit intimacy. You can't go back and add truth to decades that were built on silence. Some doors don't reopen. Not because people are cruel, but because time has moved on without you. What can't be fixed is the hardest part to accept. I can't go back and sit across from my younger self and tell him it's okay to be real. I can't give my wife the chance to love the person I actually was. I can't rebuild relationships that withered from neglect rather than conflict. Neglect is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It just leaves one day and doesn't come back. People ask me sometimes if I regret my life. I don't know how to answer that cleanly. I'm grateful for many things. I had food, shelter, moments of laughter, people who cared in the ways they could. But gratitude doesn't cancel grief. It lives beside it. The grief I carry now isn't about dramatic mistakes. It's about the years I spent waiting to be myself. Waiting is expensive. You pay with time, and time doesn't offer refunds. If you're listening to this, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I don't believe in instructions anymore. I can only tell you what it feels like to look back and realize the danger was never being judged. It was disappearing quietly while everyone thought you were fine. If there's something in you that you keep postponing, something real, something honest, don't assume it will wait patiently forever. It won't. Life doesn't punish you for hiding. It simply moves on without the parts you never showed. I don't hate my younger self. He did what he thought he had to do. He was trying to survive. I just wish he'd known that survival isn't the same as living. Now, in my remaining years, I try to be present in the small ways that are still available to me. I speak when I feel something instead of swallowing it. I sit with the quiet instead of running from it. It's not redemption. It's acceptance. Some nights, the loneliness still comes. I let it sit with me. It earned its place. I don't know how much time I have left. No one does, really, but the margin feels thinner now. If this meant something to you, if it stirred something uncomfortable or familiar, you're not alone in that feeling. I lived inside it for decades. I won't tell you there's still time. I don't know your life. I'll just say this. The truth you avoid doesn't disappear. It waits. And one day, if you're lucky enough to grow old, it will sit beside you in the quiet and ask why it took you so long to let it breathe. I'm 79 years old. This is me, finally, not hiding anymore.